thank you guys. And if you guys are watching this on live stream, thank you guys as well. But today we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff with the fever. And there's a lot of videos I want to cover from Nike, from what Nike are saying to obviously the fever, to late game plays, to whether or not Stephanie White is a fraud, all of that stuff. We're covering all of that stuff in this stream today. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Hopefully you guys enjoy. So as of right now, we've got nobody in this stream. We got no one in the stream. So as soon as we get somebody in the stream, we're going to start talking. I'm going to start talking as soon as we get some people in the stream. There we go. We got one like. If somebody could comment just to make sure everything is working. To make sure everything is working. There we go. How are you? How are all of you guys? Like, oh my God. I just saw that the Connecticut Sun won a game, and someone got promoted to associate head coach. They won one game. And suddenly there's somebody straight away. Someone played a preseason game at NY, asked Sandy Brondle about former Liberty assistant, and she's going to be a head coach one day. She goes to associate head coach after winning a game. I think they're getting ready to fire Mazian. Just my opinion. I think they're getting ready to fire Mazian. Surprise stream, yeah. I was gonna stream earlier today. It's not really a surprise. I was actually planning on streaming at about 3 p.m. It's been 4 hours. I've just not been just not really been up for it today. You know the days we just don't really want to work, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to go and record, and streaming always gives me a bit of motivation to work because, well, I can't really not do anything. So we've got a bunch of topics that I'm going to cover. And the first topic that we're going to cover today is Nike, lads. We're going to be covering Nike, if you guys don't know, when it comes to Caitlin Clark. So let's get a picture of Caitlin Clark up on the screen. How much Caitlin can do if she comes back, I don't know. I don't know at this stage. I don't know. I really have no idea. It'll be a lot. I don't know if it'll be enough. But yeah, Caitlin Clark, obviously. Nike have screwed Caitlin Clark. And this is the first topic I want to talk about live on stream. But Nike have absolutely screwed Caitlin Clark. You have got a former 15-year Nike marketing employee, Jordan Rogers, talking about this. And let's take a listen to what he is talking about with Nike and Caitlin Clark.
Let's you and me talk about Caitlin Clark, since you refuse to talk about Caitlin Clark. I care deeply about you. I spent over a decade in your marketing organization. I spent several years trying to get into your organization, and it's been 3 years since I left your company. I'm just here as a friend. I care about you. I want to show you two different charts here. One, your stock price since 2020.
Which is crazy, again, looking at the stock price of Nike since 2021. It is kind of crazy. It's tanking almost as much as the US dollar at this stage.
It is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions,
that's tanking a lot more than the dollar. Jesus. A lot more than the dollar.
Their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. There is one who only rivals Caitlin Clark, and that is Angel Reese.
And by the way, the only times when Angel Reese rivals Caitlin Clark is when there's some controversy. That is a fact. The only time that she rivals Angel Reese is when there's some controversy. And by the way, you might be saying, oh, Nike didn't... when it comes to Nike didn't give anyone these logos in the first year. But it's like, Paige Bueckers already has her logo. Paige Bueckers already has her merch. Paige Bueckers already has her merch. All of these people already have their merch. Not Caitlin Clark.
and you do not have her. She is over at Reebok. I am so confused as to how you would be so invested in the WNBA for several years, and you've been doing great work to try to elevate and uplift that league and many of the athletes there. But this seems like you have convinced yourself that this needs to be an either-or conversation. And we never have an either-or conversation in the men's sports. You have like 10 signature athletes.
Oh, it seems to be, it's either or. It genuinely seems like they just don't want, as soon as it was announced that Caitlin Clark got the shoe deal. By the way, who the hell leaked how much Caitlin Clark was getting paid in the shoe deal? Like, we can never forget. We don't know what anyone else is getting paid. We don't know what anyone else is getting paid, but we know what Caitlin Clark got paid. Who leaked that? Who leaked that?
Half of them don't deserve a signature shoe. And we figure out a way to market them. LeBron James showed up as the chosen one, and you have the chosen one. He got all of the marketing, and yet you still were able to figure out how to market Kobe as well. I realize tomorrow we are going to get a Kobe Protro, apparently. I haven't heard much about it.
It's not coming out in Europe, that Kobe Protro. I've looked at Nike sneakers. It's not coming out in Europe. And, again, if it doesn't have the name Caitlin Clark on it, she's not getting money for that.
It's going to be $190. Very few people will be able to get it, and that will be about a year after you have signed her and after she won Rookie of the Year. This is so confusing to me. I am so perplexed. I wrote 2,000 words on it in my newsletter this week. Read it, but I didn't even send one last week because I've been sitting in a room like Beautiful Mind trying to figure out all of the stupid reasons why you might be sitting on your hands. Wemby got his Alien campaign less than a year after he had been signed, and he got
the Alien campaign, I'm pretty sure, during his freaking first season. During his first season.
Got a player edition shoe. I guess that you're doing that with Caitlin, but I'm so confused as to why you wouldn't be doing bigger campaigns with her. You finally put her in a Super Bowl campaign with...
Never forget about the Super Bowl campaign. Never forget the ad. There were 9 people on the t-shirt. They mentioned 8 of them and didn't mention Caitlin Clark, and then had to re-release the ad where they had a still image where they paused the video and had the person monotone just go, Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark. They put in a still image. It was an entire moving commercial, and they put in a still image. When they zoomed past Caitlin Clark's, they paused the video and had them voice over it because people got angry about it.
9 other women, and all respect to them, but none of them are moving the needle quite like she is. Your tagline in that was, you can't win, so win. One of the best explanations I can come up with is that you are wringing your hands and afraid to enter into this politically divisive conversation that has been co-opted by the media and pundits who are race baiting and doing all kinds of ridiculous things around women's basketball. You can't win, so win. You have the unicorn, the chosen one, the one who everyone wants to hear from, and you were just sitting around. Gatorade, State Farm, Gainbridge, Wilson Basketball have all figured out how to have a point of view with Caitlin Clark. Please, for the love of God, figure something out.
And that's the funniest thing about all of this, is that you can never win with the WNBA fans. You realize you can never win with WNBA fans. You can never win. Like, you can't even, you think about the least problematic players in the entire WNBA, and probably Fee Collier is probably the least problematic. But they hate Fee Collier because she won a depoy over AJ Wilson. Like, you can't win. If you're in the WNBA sphere working with WNBA players, in terms of just the toxicity around it, you can't win. That's the reality of it. You can't win. So why not make as much money as possible? You can't win anyway. No matter what they do. The only way Nike could win, and I'm not joking when I say this, the only way Nike could win, could quote unquote win, or not lose in some way, and if you get rid of Caitlin Clark, people are going to go crazy as well. You can't get rid of Caitlin. Like, you can't get rid of Caitlin. You can't really do anything. I don't know what you can do. I really don't know what they can do, because let's be real. Sabrina Ionescu was getting the same hate. Sabrina got the same hate when she got her signature shoe. But they didn't care. They didn't care about the hate. They got her the signature shoe. And it's worked out well for them. It's clearly worked out well for them. And now you've got Caitlin Clark, who at this stage, Paige Bueckers has her own line of t-shirts. She has her own line. Sabrina, Aja, fair enough. They have their own thing. But I'll always say this when it comes to the Nike thing. Like, I'm sorry. apparently, according to this is when you're like, when you know you can't win in WNBA circles. Do you guys not remember the podcast that said the logo looked dumb? That said the logo looked dumb, and then AJ Wilson killed them for it because they talked about the bottle opener. Like, let's be honest. Whatever your opinion of AJ Wilson is, this looks like a bottle opener. And like, there are cool logos in. I don't like Stewie's logo, WNBA. Sabrina's logo is fantastic. And I have to say, what's her name's logo is fantastic. Angel Reese's logo is absolutely fantastic. As a man who grew up in the 2000s, the Angel Reese logo is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, it's a weird one. It is a really, really weird one with when it comes to Caitlin Clark and Nike. Like, I have absolutely no idea. No idea what they're doing. And whatever they are doing is just not working. It's just not working out at all. Whatever they're doing, it's just, I'm not going to say it's been a disaster, but it's not far off being a disaster. Breanna was the title winner. She got her. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's basically it. Please take my pills. What pills? What pills? I take a multivitamin every day. It's the closest thing to pills that I take. But was Clark in the league? Angel's logo is very cool. But yeah. Why would they sign Serena Sundell? Like, can you guys give me a reason why the Fever would sign Serena Sundell? Like, everyone in chat is saying sign Serena Sundell. Like, Serena Sundell, it makes absolutely no sense signing Serena Sundell. I understand she was really good in college. I understand her final year in college, she led the nation in assists. I understand. I get it. She's about 6'1". I get it. Serena Sundell was so bad. She was so bad for the Storm. Like, I kid you not. Like, I think Serena Sundell is going to be a WNBA player. I think she's going to be a W player. But, like, she couldn't dribble past the halfway line in preseason. I'm going to get this right here. I'm going to show you guys. Right here. Serena Sundell. She played one preseason game in a 20-point win. And Serena Sundell played 19 minutes. She was -1 in a 20-point win. I repeat, -1 in a 20-point win. She went 0 of 3 from the field. She had 4 turnovers to 1 assist. She played the Connecticut Sun. And the Connecticut Sun bench. Half of these people aren't even on the team anymore. This was the Connecticut Sun with no Marina Mabry, no Sanaya Rivers. Anissa Morrow kind of sucks. But this is Connecticut Sun. This is a half a Connecticut Sun team. And all of a sudden, she turns the ball over 4 times. She could barely dribble past the halfway line. Like, I get it. I understand the idea of Serena Sundell. I wanted them to draft Serena Sundell. Like, this is having to come from somebody who was pushing for them to draft Serena Sundell. And in general, I hate admitting I'm wrong. But Serena Sundell is just not it. She is just not the right player. Like, we saw Sophie Cunningham is better at getting past that, is probably better at getting past the halfway line than Serena Sundell. Sophie Cunningham is probably going to be better at that. And if you guys didn't see, she was benched in the closed door scrimmage. In the closed door scrimmage, she's literally on. They had all the footage. She played a couple of minutes at the end of the game. And yeah, it is like it just does not make sense. Like if I'm the Indiana Fever, there are 100 better players to take than Serena Sundell. Like you can go, I'll talk about it a little bit later, but you can go down the Kate Martin route. You can go down the Ari McDonald route, who's still a better player. You can go Celeste Taylor and Grace Berger, unless you just have too much pride and you don't want to take them back. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, you have 2 players that they can take back. And if they're willing to do that, they could genuinely have a much better player on their hands. Because Celeste Taylor is better than Serena Sundell. No question about it. Celeste Taylor is much better than Serena Sundell. Especially, by the way, with this BS ridiculous ridiculous system that they are running, that this team is running for mid-ranges. Grace Berger is the best player. Genuinely, Grace Berger is the best player possible. She is a mid-range specialist. And everybody, again, hyping up Serena Sundell. Like, again, this time last season, the 31st of May, Grace Berger comes in, 6 points, 2 boards, and 4 of 4 free throw lines, leads the team in plus minus. This day last year, by the way, this was against, if I'm not mistaken, the Storm. This day last year, she came in, started doing something. But like Sundell is just, you are taking a risk. And for saying Grace Berger's gone, Sundell's there. Neither of them, they're both sitting at home. They are both sitting at home. That's the only thing you can say. Both Serena Sundell and Grace Berger are sitting at home. So they have a choice to make. They genuinely have a choice to make. And another player that is the wildest choice. They're looking to see if they can sign the freaking vlogger. I'm seeing fans calling for looking at guards. I'm suggesting they sign the vlogger. I'm suggesting Aerial Powers. Suggesting the freaking vlogger. Like, what are we doing? Like, I get it. I understand Aerial Powers was a solid player, but from everything I've seen about Aerial Powers, it seems like there's no player that gives less of a damn about winning than Aerial Powers. Again, I understand. Look, she averaged 8 points per game last year. She's also a gunner. She's not a point guard. She's a gunner. She's averaged over the last 2 seasons, 2 seasons, under an assist a game. She's a gunner. The only player that will win the Fever games is Kennedy Carter. But all of these things where it's like, if you want to shore up your backcourt depth long term with Serena Sundell, if you want to make a long term decision on a Serena Sundell, that is completely fine. Make that decision in the offseason. Get a young team around. Make the decision in the offseason. Don't make that decision now. Because right now, when it comes to Sundell, it's just not the right fit. It's just not the right fit. She's not ready yet. And if Serena Sundell comes in, whoever comes in is going to have to immediately slide into the starting point guard role. There's no Odyssey Sims that's been cut this year. If I was the Fever, I would have I'd be living in hope that the Golden State Valkyries make Julie Vanloo available for trade. But if Sundell is the answer, you're not asking the right questions. For this season anyway. Because the Indiana Fever can readjust the way they want to take the franchise next year. They can readjust the way they want to take it next year. The only thing that matters with this Fever team right now is to win the championship this year or be as good this year as possible this year, unless they want to tank. Unless the Fever want to tank. And realistically, the only reason, like the Kennedy Carter one, I'll talk about it in another video, but Serena Sundell is not the right answer for the Fever today. With the way things are going for the Fever, Sundell is not the right answer. So a lot of people are talking about bringing in Serena Sundell. And right now, I am going to suggest certain moves the Indiana Fever can make and what I think they should do with their team. So, if you guys don't know, the Indiana Fever can sign people on hardship contracts until players come back from injuries. They can sign people on hardship contracts till people come back. So you can sign people on 7-day contracts. You can sign emergency hardship contracts. And by the way, that is only if the WNBA gives them permission. And Serena Sundell should not be the player. Sundell should not at all be the player that the Indiana Fever sign. So we know the Fever are down and they need point guards. They need a point guard. They need a win. And by the way, as soon as Caitlin Clark comes back from injury, whoever this player is going to be cut. Realistically, as soon as whoever gets signed is signed, or as soon as Caitlin Clark is back, the player they sign is going to be cut. So we are looking at a player for about 3 to 4 games. What can they do? What can they do? There is one player that I would extremely like, and this is something that's a little bit out of left field. It's a little bit out of left field. So, a lot of people are talking about hardship players, and I think, yes, they can do stuff on hardship players. But in my opinion, there are much better players you can get at the 3, 4, 5 on a hardship contract than there are at the 1. I don't think there are any good point guards, really, that you can sign. Someone in the chat said Bree Hall. Bree Hall won't be able to dribble the ball past the halfway line. Like, we can be honest here. The team does not have a point guard right now. However, there is a player that I think they can... there are 2 players I think that they can trade for. And you go to the Golden State Valkyries. So the Valkyries have a bit too much depth. So you look at the Golden State Valkyries, and you look at... where's the team? Roster. If you look at the Valkyries guard depth, they are starting right now. They're starting... is Carla Late start or does Julie Van Loo start? One of those 2 starts, the other comes off the bench. Veronica Burton plays point quite a bit. Tiffany Hayes is currently injured. When Tiffany Hayes comes back, their guard depth is going to be Hayes, Late, and Burton as their like main 3, with Salone who can slide down at guard and a bunch of others that can slide down to 2. And Chechi Zandalasini who can slide down to 2 if needed. That is their depth at the point guard position. Or at guard position, whether it be 1, 2. They don't have that much depth as far as bigs are concerned. They have Monique Billings, Kiara Linskins, who's okay. They got Temi, and they got... that's it. Like, they're playing Talbot at the 4 or 5 at times. They're playing Kayla Thornton up a position. I've seen Janelle Salone play the 5 at times. So they've got 3. They've got 3, and Linskins doesn't really play. Bree Turner and a second for one of Julie Van Loo or Kate Martin. I'd do that. If you're the Valkyries already have their hype. They've sold their Kate Martin jerseys and reunite them. You're not going to get Kate Martin. They're not going to cook Kate Martin. I would make a deal like that. And for anyone saying Caitlin Chen is already committed to playing 3-on-3 for the summer. She literally signed for a 3-on-3 team yesterday. She signed for a pro travel 3-on-3 team. Caitlin Chen is not coming to the WNBA this year. And Caitlin Chen is not good enough either. I would try to trade for one of Julie Vanley or Kate Martin. And ideally, Kate Martin. If you can make some sort of a trade, the only real tradable asset is Bree Turner. And if it costs you Damiris Dantas, I still make the trade. If Kate Martin is going to cost you Damiris Dantas, you still make the trade. Because as good as Kate Martin is, maybe they'll be willing to let her go. Other players that the Fever can look at. And look, Ari McDonald is an option. Is genuinely an option. Ari McDonald's coming off a season where she got waived. After she averaged 8.6 points per game last year. Not the greatest passer in the world. She's not the greatest scorer in the world, but she's fine. She's fine. The problem is she's about 5'5", and putting her beside Kelsey Mitchell will not work well. A lot of people are saying this one. I think Ari McDonald is good. I think the problem is that a hardship contract, they are essentially coming in to play to start at the 1 till Caitlin Clark comes back. That is what they've essentially done. And Kate Martin has the ability to play point guard. We watched her play the point guard at times for the Aces. Kate Martin is someone who can fix that. Who can go and fix that, be in that position. The problem is that you might have to give up Dantas for her. However, Ari McDonald is a better player, but she's small. She is small. Serena Sundell is someone that I don't like. I don't think Serena Sundell is good enough, and you're not taking a project. You're not taking a project off the waivers. I think Grace Berger is an option. I think Grace Berger is probably the best option because of how the team's trying to play. Grace Berger, on her career, is like 4 point per game. She's, again, she shot 46% from 3 for her career. Like, that is crazy. People are like, you want to shoot her? She's a mid-range specialist who shoots 46% from 3, who's a decent defender. And you might have to look at her. And the one player I think maybe could be the best option because it's defense. She can play a bit at the point. Might be Celeste Taylor. Bringing Celeste Taylor back might be the move. Because can she really run the show at the 1? No. Can she play offense? No. She can just lock someone down. Like, she can be an athlete. She can run. She can guard a bit. Like, I don't think Celeste Taylor is a bad option. I don't think it's bad, but like, that's almost, is that it? Like, is Celeste Taylor the best two options in my opinion? Because at least Celeste Taylor is tall enough to play beside Kelsey and can guard. I can't believe when I say this. The arguably the two best options are sub 5 point per game scorers who already play for the Fever and they got rid of them. Like, someone says the whole point is someone who can run the 1, who can fill in for Caitlin Clark so she's not playing 38 minutes per game. No. This is on a hardship. Everyone other than Kate Martin is on a hardship. They're there to play 38 minutes per game for the next week and a half. Because the Fever's not going out with 6 players. The Fever are going to sign someone on a hardship. But by far the best player that they can sign. Is Kennedy Carter. Like, come on. Like, Kennedy Carter is without doubt the best player they can sign. Without doubt. But she's not going to go. So it'll be Celeste Taylor. Celeste Taylor sucks. Like, people are going at Kennedy Carter saying she assaulted Caitlin last year. Sophie Cunningham threw a blind elbow at Caitlin Clark last year. Julie Vanloo shoved Caitlin Clark last year. Like, what are we? Like, that's a crazy thing. But these are all for people literally to come in on a emergency hardship while Caitlin Clark recovers from injury. And the second Caitlin Clark recovers from injury, they have to leave. So no one of Kennedy Carter's level is going to come. You either sign someone on you either sign a 3-4 on a hardship, You either sign someone on a hardship, a 3-4, and trade for a 1, and trade one of Dantas or Bree Turner for a 1, or you sign, realistically, what they should do is sign one of Celeste Taylor or Grace Berger back. The problem is they're probably going to go and bring Jaylen Brown back, who is terrible. Terrible. I'm going to be honest. Jaylen Brown's not very good, but they're probably going to go and bring Jaylen Brown back. We can be honest. Or they're going to bring Bria Hall back to play the point guard position, even though she could not be further from a point guard. Yeah, it's an interesting one. And the Fever, it's not an easy one. It's not an easy one. Who do you replace Dance with? Bree Turner. Bree Turner's there. Bree Turner's already there. There's no need to have both of them. There's absolutely no need to have both of them. But yeah, it's not looking great for Indiana, is it? But yeah. Watching a Sky game tonight. Yeah, but I'll probably make a video on it in the morning. Kennedy Carter never had the fan base tweets, man. Kennedy Carter is Kennedy Carter. She doesn't care. Kennedy Carter is Kennedy Carter. That's the only thing I'm going to say. She's Kennedy Carter. You'll probably... Bree in future picks is probably not going to look up Serena Sundell. Serena Sundell couldn't dribble past the halfway line in preseason. She literally couldn't dribble past the halfway line. Like... There's no team chemistry. There's no team chemistry anyway. And I'm going to be honest, lads. I've rewatched these games. And the Indiana Fever, a good coach, a big part of coaching is late game situations. The Indiana Fever ran the worst play I have ever seen to win this game. I don't know what they were trying to do. I don't know what they were trying to do. Like, the Connecticut Sun tried to lose this game. They put Sinaya Rivers on the free throw line. Like, can someone explain to me what look the Indiana Fever were trying to get out of this? Can somebody explain to me what look? I will show you guys when the play is on. So, ball goes to Lexi Hull. They're down 2. Ball goes to Hull. It has literally been a second and nobody's moved. Nobody has moved for a second. Kelsey Mitchell is also the worst screen setter in history. What the hell is that play? Getting Kelsey Mitchell to the short corner on a curl away from the basket. Like, what the hell is this? And also, DeWanna Bonner's wide open. But, like, what is that play? Like, what is it meant to be? What is it meant to be? Like, you could say, oh yeah, maybe this is a player doing something wrong. So, let's watch it again. So, they wait too long. DeWanna Bonner's just getting out of there. Dantas, Kelsey Mitchell sets the worst screen ever. And by the way, Kelsey Mitchell sets a screen for Dantas to run into DeWanna Bonner. And Dantas does not sets an accidental screen on DeWanna Bonner. And Bonner's wide open, by the way. Bonner is wide open here. But instead, they hit Kelsey on a curl to the short corner, where she fumbles the ball, goes sidestep, nearly steps out of bounds, and shoots a shot with her foot on the line. And at the end of the game, Stephanie White goes, well, we didn't draw it up for a 3, but, you know, sometimes it happens. This isn't a 3. Her foot's on the line. She's trying to... They literally drew up the play. There is not that much better options. And by the way, why Kelsey Mitchell took that shot is beyond me. Why does she not just step back and then try Bertina Charles? I don't know. But like, that is a dumb end line play. That is a real dumb end line play from the Indiana Fever. And let's not forget the lob. Let's not forget the lob. I'll remember the lob play. We cannot forget the lob play. I can't even remember what day it was against Atlanta. Every close game the team has been in, they have literally come out and done something dumb. Even the last play for Caitlin Clark where she got hacked every time wasn't a good play. It wasn't a good play. It is, if you look at the play and she's, like Stephanie White I mean this when I say this. Stephanie White is a freaking snake oil salesman. Because this is a lob play for Natasha Howard. You cannot convince me otherwise. They're like, we tried to give it to Willia. No, she didn't. You cannot convince me otherwise. She is a snake oil salesman. She's a politician. She knows what the fans are going to say, and then she goes and says what the fans want to hear. Watch this play. This is literally a routine lob play. This person screens for the big gets the F out of there, and they set a back screen for a lob. They ran the lob play. This is a lob play. They're like, oh, this was for Aaliyah Boston on a post-up. Nobody runs a play for a post-up where someone just screens. You might start it off a post entry pass. This is a lob play. It is what it is. It did not work out. It is a lob play. Why are you running a lob play for Natasha Howard? And I don't care what she says in a press conference. Do not believe what Stephanie White says in a press conference. She said she wanted the team to play fast. They're one of the slowest teams in the league. She said she wanted the team to get up and down and shoot threes. They don't shoot threes. And then, again, I'll show you guys the one was, at least they got it into Caitlin Clark's hands, but it was a terrible play from for the Liberty game. Like, that wasn't a good play either. Like, Stephanie White drawing up plays. It's been a disaster. She's been an absolute disaster drawing up plays right here on the year. She draws up something dumb every single time. Like, how many times have we watched dumb plays? And by the way, Caitlin Clark sets a screen for Aaliyah. Like, what the hell? That's literally it. It is Caitlin Clark sets a screen for Aaliyah. That is what this play is. Watch what Caitlin Clark does. Caitlin Clark, nobody screens for Caitlin Clark. No one does anything. Caitlin Clark sets a screen for Aaliyah Boston. That is the play. Caitlin sets the screen for Aaliyah. And then, by the way, if a smart team, if this team was smart, Aaliyah flares, Caitlin has an open layup. Just a heads up. Caitlin has an open layup here. And then nobody gets Caitlin, and Caitlin has to go in a one-on-one situation. And again, look, the smartest thing Caitlin Clark could have done there is dart to here and attack the basket. That's the smartest thing Caitlin Clark should have done. But this isn't even an end lines play. This isn't even, like, Caitlin Clark sets a screen for Aaliyah Boston and has to get the ball 35 feet from the basket with 2.9 seconds to go. Yes, she got fouled 5 times. That is a dumb end line play. Doesn't matter what happens. Like, there are smart and dumb end line plays. The only competent end line play she ran was the lob. The lob isn't that bad a play. It was just a really bad screen by Kelsey Mitchell. A real bad screen by Kelsey Mitchell, who refuses to set screens. If Kelsey Mitchell is here, that's a layup for Natasha Howard. Great pass by Caitlin, bad finish by Natasha Howard. They got 2 good looks off that play. It worked to perfection. Someone said it was a CC read since they were all over Boston. Anyone who has played the sport of basketball knows exactly what that play is. It was a lob play. It was a lob play for Natasha Howard. We know that. There has been an inability, and I understand she took a reset, but like, how does this team not... They have had 3 opportunities late in games to win or tie games, and they have ran dumb plays the 3 times. They have ran dumb plays all 3 times. It's getting ridiculous. Kelsey Mitchell's too little to set screens. No one's too small to set screens. No one wants to, No one's out there just setting screen. No one wants to just set screens. Or sorry, no one's too small to set screens. But it's actually getting frustrating watching this. It is getting so frustrating watching this team run bad endline play after bad game-winning play after bad game-winning play after bad game-winning play. They don't run proper. They don't run proper like sets at all. It is horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. And they've ran, the only one that wasn't that dumb was the lob play from Natasha Howard. But they didn't need to run the lob play. They should have ran the lob play yesterday. There was 5 seconds to go. Run the lob play with 5 seconds, not with 11 seconds to go. But yeah. It's mad. It's mad. Even Christy Sides is better at ATOs. Even Sides is better at ATOs than this. But yeah. Yeah, lads, yeah. So obviously the Fever losing 2 players yesterday was huge. Sophie Cunningham and Sid Colson. And in both of those situations, there was one player that was there. Caitlin Clark cannot wait to drop 40 points the next time they play the Connecticut Sun. Her mortal enemy took out a player. JC Sheldon. Caitlin Clark's mortal enemy. JC Sheldon. For no reason. And by the way, this is... There's no... Like, first of all, Sid Colson dribbles the ball off her back of her leg and behind the back. And the ball, in fairness, the ball is there to be won. I hate saying this. The ball's there to be won, but she still dives through her knee. Like, you can't, this has to be, you need to change the rules so this is a flagrant, because there's no outcome to this situation other than blowing out Sophie or Sydney Colson's knee. Like, this is going to happen, when this happens to a better player, people are going to be calling for the rules to be changed. And until those rules are changed, like, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. But, like, this is a reckless play. An absolutely reckless play from JC Sheldon. And, again, when Sophie Cunningham goes down, she went down injured, and JC Sheldon was beside her as well. I will say, I'm not blaming JC Sheldon for the Sophie Cunningham one. I saw in a Rachel Demita injury. I don't get where she was coming from that it was a contact injury on Sophie Cunningham. JC Sheldon tried to get around the screen, and Sophie Cunningham ended up just rolling her ankle. But, like, this is a reckless play. This is reckless. It is dangerous. And this angle makes it look even worse. It is dangerous. Like, Sid Colson is between her and the ball. Sid Colson is, in fact, between JC Sheldon and the ball, and she dives through her knee. It wasn't even called as a foul. Someone in the comments just said, didn't mean it, she's a hustler. And I agree with that. I don't think she meant to hurt Sid Colson there, but she didn't care if she did, because Sid Colson is in between. Look at this scenario. There is no scenario where the game of basketball is not benefited by this being an automatic flagrant. There is no scenario where this being an automatic flagrant foul doesn't benefit the sport of basketball. Intentional or unintentional. Because a hit to the head is a flagrant foul now, even if it's unintentional. Blowing out somebody's knee is equally as dangerous as a hit to the head. And then we saw it with the Sophie Cunningham play as well. I don't think JC Sheldon did anything in this play. So JC Sheldon, Sophie sets the screen. JC Sheldon bangs knees with her, it looks like. And then she rolls her ankle. But, like, she was in the middle of rolling her ankle before they bang knees. I don't think there's not much in that, and you guys probably can't even see it on screen. But this play was absolutely reckless. And the WNBA is just, I'm not going to say, and if anything, ironically, it should have been a flagrant foul on JC Sheldon. And then also, Sid Colson wraps her legs around JC Sheldon here. How is this a no call? How is jumping through somebody's knees a no call? Like, first of all, it has to be a flagrant one. But how is that a no call? There is no scenario where that is a no call. There is no scenario where she jumped through her knees before she touched the ball. There is no scenario that should ever be a no call in basketball. Like, they brag about the physicality. Like, the WNBA brags about the physicality of the league. They brag about the physicality of the league. Half the freaking league is out right now. Fee, injured. Caitlin, injured. Fee, injured. Caitlin, injured. Freaking, what's her name? Injured. Alyssa Thomas, injured. Paige, injured. Sophie Cunningham, injured. Well, Sophie Cunningham's, I don't know. Sophie Cunningham just got injured anyway. Injured. Anyone else get injured for somebody plowing through their knees? Like, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting absolutely ridiculous what is going on. And again, it's not like JC Sheldon is doing something differently than these players are being told to do from this physical league. Yeah, it's a physical league. It's not like she's doing anything different. JC Sheldon just sprints, is just an Energizer bunny. She just runs around everywhere. But like, there are certain things that would be red cards. I mean this. There are certain things like, it's just ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous now. It's getting absolutely ridiculous. The sport, it's actually a negative for the sport of basketball. You are seeing teams having to get hardship contracts. You are seeing you can't fight for a loose ball. If you think diving through someone's knee is fighting for a loose ball, then you can't wait till Solomon Hill to LeBron James. What's his name? Matthew Dellavedova to Corver. Who else? Jaden Ivey, I think, got his knee blown out this year. How many ACL tears? How many meniscus tears? Joel Embiid last season? How many meniscus tears and ACL tears does the game need before they just say, let's stop let's stop for fake hustle. For fake hustle points, stop allowing people jump through people's knees. It is the craziest thing in any other sport. In any other sport, an action that consistently leads to 5 ACL tears a year would be banned. And this isn't even going on JC Sheldon. This is a basketball thing in general. A basketball thing in general. But it's ridiculous. And again, the WNBA, the WNBA is the only league that this isn't a foul, by the way. In every other league, this is at least a foul. She went through her knee. She barely touched her. Jesus Christ, some people are idiots in the comments. She goes through her knee. She has possibly taken out a player for the season because of a reckless dive. An absolute reckless dive. A reckless dive. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. It's just a mad situation all around, lads. And yeah, hopefully less of this stuff happens in the future. And speaking of injuries, lads, Paige Bueckers' concussion, I didn't notice it at the time. This sums up awful refereeing. This is the most awful refereeing. I'm not joking when I say this. If Courtney Vandersloot did this to Paige Bueckers in rugby, she would have been sent off. She would have been sent off. What happened to Paige is a red card in rugby, lads. It is a red card in rugby. The hit that she took to the head. Courtney Vandersloot, she played a whole second half with a concussion. Which, by the way, like, she obviously didn't know. She didn't know what was going on. Courtney Vandersloot shouldered her in the head. It is a red card in rugby, what happened to Paige Bueckers. And it was called as a normal thing. It was not a clash of heads. It was a shoulder to the head. You cannot reach with your shoulder and hit someone in the head. That is a red card in rugby. As someone who watches rugby, it is a red card in rugby. It is a red card in Gaelic football. It is a red card in Australian football. This is a red card in I'm trying to get the video up here. In legitimate sports that people consider violent, it is a red card. But Courtney Vandersloot got away with a common foul. A common foul. It's allowed in MMA. Yeah. And by the way, what's her name? Got away with this. Alyssa Thomas did this to Caitlin Clark last year as well and got away with it. So, let's zoom in as much as humanly possible. Unfortunately, I can't zoom in much more. Okay, so watch what happens here. So, Paige Bueckers has the ball at the top of the three-point line. She is dribbling. She drives left. Courtney Vandersloot. Boom. Right shoulder to the face. In this scenario here, Paige is about to get past Courtney Vandersloot. Her right shoulder. There is no excuse for Courtney Vandersloot's right shoulder to hit Paige Bueckers in the face. It's nowhere near head on head. What are you guys watching? She hits her with her right shoulder. She hits her with her right shoulder. People are genuinely making stuff up just because they don't like Paige Bueckers. She got hit with her right shoulder to the face. This is where the contact is. This is not head on head. She tried to reach in with her left hand and clocks her like that. She literally clocks her with her right shoulder. This has to be a flagrant. It is a red card in rugby. It is a red card in Australian football. It is a red card in Gaelic football. This is a red card in sports that are considered the most physical sports in the world. And it's a common foul. It is a common foul. And this is what these old players do. This is what these old players do. This is what they do. They've played in this league long enough that it is the WNBA where violence happens. And by the way, in the NBA, this goes to the monitor and it's a flagrant one. We know that. We know that. It is WNBA where violence happens. That is a shoulder to the face. That is a needless shoulder to the face. People don't like Paige, so they're making up whatever the hell they want. This is a shoulder to the face. You can't do that. You can't do that. You cannot turn your body like this into somebody's face when they're going by you. It is a red card in rugby. In rugby. A sport where you are allowed to tackle people to the ground. I don't know about American football, but I would assume with all the concussion stuff in American football, there's a good chance that it is something in American football, whatever the equivalent of a red card is. It is. Someone saying I'm going to lose followers. I hope you're one of them. I hope you're one of them. This is literally where the WNBA where violence happens. Paige Bueckers is currently out because they allowed her, because she got flagrantly fouled. And by somebody who has been allowed, by a league, from people that have been allowed flagrantly foul people for the entirety of their careers. For the entirety of their careers. That's why Paige Bueckers is injured. Caitlin Clark, we don't know when Caitlin Clark got re-aggravated the injury, but how many times have they gone through Caitlin Clark's legs? How many times did have players gone through Caitlin Clark's legs on jump shots? Heck, there was the one where Maya Caldwell, Caitlin is a landing space foul, and she hits Caitlin Clark after the landing space foul. And it's nothing. It's nothing. So right now, you've got Paige Bueckers, who's currently out injured because she got flagrantly fouled. You've got Caitlin Clark out injured. Nafisa Collier's out injured. Alyssa Thomas is out injured. Sophie, or what's her name, got injured. Sid Colson got injured because someone dived through her leg. Sophie Cunningham rolled her ankle. It is what it is. Like, it's been 6 games. It has been 6 games. And how many needless injuries have we seen? How many completely needless injuries has there been in the WNBA? They don't do a good job protecting their players. They are so worried about keeping up this we're a physical league. We're a physical league. That they are willing to put their players in danger. And it's not just a Caitlin situation. It's not just a Caitlin situation. It's everyone in the league. They are willing to put their players in danger. Players in sports get hurt all the time. Do you want to know what the difference is? Is that this league actively puts players in a position to get hurt. The fact Caitlin Clark did not get injured last season because of the stuff players were allowed to do to her is a miracle. The fact Angel Reese could have broken her neck when she got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas. 0-game suspension because they were scared of it. They were scared to call a flagrant 2 on Kennedy Carter because it was on Caitlin Clark. The league, the referees, all of these people, they are scared. They are scared. I don't know why. They're scared of the big time. The same referee that referees calling for security on players, they're allowing people to get mauled. The Golden State Valkyries just lost a game because Natasha Cloud hugged Julie Van Loo, who was about to get an open layup, and then as the ball was in the air for an open layup, they call 5 seconds. Like, they don't. The referees in this league, I genuinely think there's no way, surely there's no way that the league is not complicit with some of this crap. With some of this crap that's happening to players. And the league doesn't want this. There's no, like I said this a year ago. I still think that there is a very, like, as a conspiracy theory, there is all the conspiracy theory that the WNBA actually doesn't want to succeed. The WNBA actually doesn't want to succeed. And the more you see from this league, the more you think maybe that is the case. Maybe that is the case. Like, we are looking at games ending, teams scoring 50 points in games. We're looking at players needlessly diving through people's legs for 40 minutes and nothing happens. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So many dangerous plays get led away with it's physical. It's physical. Wait until Caitlin Clark gets injured. Because you've already seen Paige getting injured from a dangerous foul. How Caitlin Clark has not broke or has not done some serious damage to her ankles yet is beyond me. Because it's going to happen. It's not an if, it is a when. It is a when. And players can get injured at any time. Players can get injured from any move. Accidents happen. The difference is that dangerous play is being encouraged in this league. It is being encouraged. And because dangerous play is being encouraged, it is a matter of when, not if, the biggest players in this league get injured. And not just injured from just in normal. When, not if, they get injured from players being allowed to do dangerous stuff the whole game and then eventually it just goes too far. Because we saw it with Ryan Howard. She was led away with a little bit of physicality in the first game. In the second game, they let her maul Caitlin. And by the end of the game, she was just hacking her. Someone's going to get badly hurt. And the scary thing is, I think it's going to take one of the top players in this league suffering a needless bad injury from a dirty play before the league does anything. Because the league doesn't care. The league does not care. So yeah, it's sports. People get hurt. Yeah, people get hurt in sports. But people get hurt in sports, but most of the time people don't get hurt in sports from dirty players. From a league that allows players to play dirty. From a league so scared on appearing not physical. Not physical that they will allow players to get injured. Most players don't get injured from that. There's a big difference between normal sports injury and someone diving through someone's leg and it not being called as a foul. You need to copy the Warriors plays and who's going to pass the ball? Who's going to pass the ball? Who is going to pass the ball? That matters. That matters as well. You can't have the Golden State Warriors offense with 2.5 playmakers. Aaliyah and Caitlin are playmakers, and then you've got a half a playmaker in Sophie Cunningham. So, lads, Paul George has spoken out about the Caitlin Clark effect on the WNBA. So let's see what he has said.
You got to put it in perspective, right? These girls have been grinding to grow the game of basketball in the WNBA. They've been grinding to grow the sport to the world, the viewerships. They've been grinding for all of this. And then you have this girl that comes along from college and is an instant change. She's handed pretty much being the face of the league.
No, she's the face of the league. Not pretty much the face of the league. She is the face of the league.
There's going to be girls that are offended by that. And there's going to be girls that think she's got to earn it and she doesn't deserve this.
She earned the face of the league. I stand by this. She earned the face of the league when 3 million people watch her play and 200,000 watch other players play.
This early. She's handled it great. I think she's performed last year. She's performing again this year. I think she's the rightful face of the NBA, up there with Asia Wilson, with Nafisa, with...
Oh, he mentioned Fee. Someone actually mentioned Fee. I'm shocked. Somebody actually mentioned Fee. And not Asia Wilson or Angel Reese or who knows who they're going to mention.
Still some of the legends, Breanna, Steward, Kelsey Plum, the new up-and-coming rising star, Bunky, Paige Bueckers.
I love how Paige Bueckers is older than Caitlin Clark, and they're talking about... They talk about Caitlin like she's a vet, and they talk about Paige like she's this super young player, and she's actually older than Caitlin.
Not only is her game talking, but she's out there talking like she's backing it up.
I love Caitlin Clark personality, man.
I love her too, man. I think she's great for the game of basketball in general, bro.
And come on, podcast, Pete.
She probably will. Oh, Jesus. That was maybe the worst voice crack I've had on this channel. Sorry, I need to turn on the L. It's very, very warm in here. So we're going to turn on the fan a little bit, so I do apologize. But it is crazy when it comes to Caitlin. It's like every league, every single person that's not directly involved in the WNBA, even people adjacently involved in the WNBA, involved in basketball, anyone involved in EuroLeague overseas, anyone involved in any ball, is pro Caitlin Clark, sees what Caitlin Clark is doing. And if you are, for example, in any level of women's basketball overseas, you're probably looking and you're like, okay, Caitlin Clark is probably making me a little bit of extra money because there's at least 20% more fans in every single women's basketball league because of Caitlin Clark. So Caitlin's earning me more money. And that is one of the funny things. Everyone in the vicinity of Caitlin Clark is pro Caitlin Clark, except for her colleagues in the league. And not even her colleagues in the league. Unhinged people on Twitter. And unhinged people on Twitter who for some reason have power in the league. That's the crazy thing about this. People are like, oh, why do I keep making videos about it? I'm like, literally. The only reason I make videos about it is that these people are actually working in and around the league. But it is... You've seen that from Paul George. Paul George talking about the WNBA and even giving a shout out to the other players. How much often would Paul George have talked about the WNBA? And you can see even people making really dumb takes online. Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd has only ever talked about the WNBA to shit on the WNBA in the past. Colin Cowherd's even talking and saying that even making dumb takes, saying Paige Bueckers is a better pure scorer than Caitlin Clark. Paige Bueckers doesn't look at the basket. Paige Bueckers doesn't shoot threes or layups. But yeah, it is a really interesting thing, and it's it is such a big and positive thing for the WNBA, and the only people that don't seem to care, that don't seem to want it is the WNBA. You got the NBA, you got the NWSL, you got all these players super hyped about it. And everyone is hyped except the WNBA. Paige, the 3-level scorer, as long as layups and threes aren't 3 of those levels. As long as layups and threes aren't those levels, she's a 3-level scorer, I guess. She is a pull-up mid-range shooter. She doesn't take layups. She shot 1 3-pointer in 8 quarters of basketball at one stage. But, yeah, it's a... These WNBA players are jealous because more people watch or talking about Caitlin Clark than them. These NBA players... The ironic thing is that Caitlin Clark is getting more hype than most NBA players. Most NBA players, Caitlin Clark gets more hype than. However, that does not seem to matter to them. They're cool with it. They are cool with Caitlin Clark getting more hype because they see it. They see it. They know they know what it is. They're fine with it. They're a bit more secure in their hype because, to be fair, they're probably saying they're living reality. It's probably very different when you're making $50 million a year, or when you're Paul George and you're on maybe the worst contract in the history of the sport of basketball. But yeah, that's just my opinion on this. I think all around it's an interesting situation. And the WNBA aren't doing a good job of it. I think they're not doing a great job of it. And it's just something that won't ever change. I thought this type of stuff was going to get better coming into this year. We have the Aces booing De'Erica Hamby's kid. We have fake investigations. We have all of this stuff. Nothing's ever going to change when it comes to this league. It is what it is. That's the only thing I can say about this league is you get what you get when it comes to the WNBA. You get what you get. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish it was a little bit different. But you're going to get what you're going to get. Nothing's going to change. Caitlin could solve world hunger, and they would say, what about the people that liked, or she could solve homelessness, and they would complain that some people liked living on the streets. Like, it's that crazy thing. But anyway, yeah. That is it. That's it. The CBA is going to suffer for it. Yep. I think they're going to get screwed in the CBA. I'm going to be honest, lads. Someone just said that in the chat and said the CBA is going to suffer. I think the WNBA players are going to get screwed. I think they're going to get screwed in the CBA. You have to take into account that the league has had unprecedented growth because of one player. The league is having steady growth outside that one player. But the league has unprecedented growth because of one player and one player alone. And that player was on the most fun team to watch in basketball. Caitlin Clark grew because she is fun to watch. Iowa, even when Iowa weren't that good, she was still getting crazy viewership compared to other college players in Iowa. Even before the whole big run. Even when Iowa weren't that good. Even before this thing. Years before that. The Indiana Fever have hired a coach that does not believe in anything that Caitlin Clark does on the floor. That is very clear. That is very clear. And look, Stephanie White's a politician. She's a politician. Every single thing Stephanie White has said, our own eyes tell us the opposite. She can say whatever the hell she wants, but your eyes don't lie. Your eyes don't lie. Everything that Stephanie White has said, the Fever have in fact done the opposite. She says she wants to play a certain way, she plays the opposite way. She starts just saying stuff, everything. She wants Caitlin to play a certain way. She has Caitlin off the ball, slowing down. She is a politician. And the Indiana Fever, even with Caitlin Clark, are not fun to watch this year. They've not been. They've not been. The Indiana Fever, if we look at last year's Fever team, even in the games they were losing, they were fun to watch. They came in 4 games under 500 into the All-Star break. They were 4 under 500. So, I'm just going to see if I can get these. I'm just going to use ESPN to get a list of these games. So, they were 4 games under 500. And still, everyone, one of the most anticipated games was to watch her play and her team coming back against the Phoenix Mercury. That was one of the most anticipated games. They then went and beat the Seattle Storm. You had Skip Bayless calling them the greatest show in sports right now. They came into the Olympics on a loss to the Sky, and after that game, as soon as this Mercury game happened, on the near triple-double, it was win. They did lose badly to the Aces. Win. This game was so fun even though they lost. Huge win. Big win down the stretch. And a crazy game. They did lose it, but this was a crazy game where she set the all-time assist record. They were fun to watch. At least. At least they were fun to watch. Like Stephanie or Christy Sides had the concepts of a plan. She had the concepts of a plan, at least. The Indiana Fever team have now... They've signed somebody called The Flash, who can only seem to play when it's slowed down. I thought, okay, yeah, it's actually good. It's good for her to be on the team, because she's just going to run the floor. The team doesn't run. The team doesn't run. In 2 games, the team has 4 fast break points without Caitlin Clark. They gave up 12 fast break points. And by the way, all of these fast break points came, or did they all come from it? One was a leak out. One was a leak out, where someone didn't get back on defense. And the other was DeWanna Bonner getting a steal at the halfway line and running in a layup. One of them was a steal in the backcourt, and the other was a leak out. 4 fast break points in 2 games. 4 fast break points in 2 games. Like that's pathetic. That's pathetic. And by the way, it's not like this team played particularly fast with her. Yes, they were really good in this game right here. They had 16 fast break points. Yes, cool. Great. They look good in that first game. Against the Atlanta Dream, they have 9 fast break points because they wouldn't give Caitlin Clark the ball. 9 fast break points. They win an ugly, grinded out game. I understand when you have a team that is not that talented playing ugly, grinded out basketball. When you have a team that has 4 of the top 35 scorers and the best offensive engine in the sport in Caitlin Clark, and I'm not even talking about yesterday. I'm not even talking about yesterday. And you don't want the best offensive engine to touch the ball. You don't want Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark was the engine. You had Kelsey Mitchell, who's a finisher. Aaliyah Boston was doing stuff. They have 4 All-Stars on paper. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. It looks like they've got 2. They've got 2. They could have picked Sanaya Rivers-Sarah or Ashley Barker. They would have probably still picked Michaela Timpson to not play her. In this game right here, if they get double digits, okay, they got 14 fast break points. How many of these fast break points were Caitlin Clark just putting her head down and running? They tactically, this team, what is the most fun shot? They had 10 against the Liberty. What is the most fun shot in basketball? The 3. The 3-point shot. This team doesn't shoot 3s anymore. They don't shoot 3s. They shoot less 3s than notoriously bad shooting Chicago Sky. They shoot less 3s in the Sky. And by the way, they are going to be behind the Chicago Sky in about 2 days. Like, they're going to have they're going to have the same record as Chicago Sky tonight. Just letting you guys know. Tonight, the Indiana Fever are going to have the same record as the Sky. They play boring basketball. Even when Caitlin Clark's back, they play boring basketball. Everything this season, everything is about this Fever team. And if the Fever don't get viewers, nobody gets viewers. The CBA is based on the they're going to be able to use the average viewership, and they're not going to be able to do anything. They're not going to be able to do anything when you just straight up, you can't market the league anymore. You can't market the players. You can't do anything. You are now in a situation where you've got all the other teams pulling in less viewers than expected. The casual fans that were casual fans of basketball that became casual fans of the Indiana Fever, that then became casual fans of WNBA, watching every single one of them leaving because the Fever, the team that they're there to watch in the first place, aren't good. A lot of times people watch the Fever and then watch others. I do not, like, if I was not making videos on this channel, I would not be watching the Indiana Fever play. I'm not saying I wouldn't watch the WNBA because I like basketball. I would not watch the Indiana Fever. I would not be watching the Indiana Fever play. I wouldn't. If you are asking me who are the most fun teams to watch, and this includes when Caitlin Clark plays. If you ask me who are the most fun teams to watch in the WNBA, the most fun team to watch is probably the Liberty. The Mercury and the Dream, when they get firing, they're there. They're there, thereabouts. The Mercury and the Dream. The Mystics are fun to watch. They play hard. The Valkyries play super hard. They're fun to watch. The Sparks, because Kelsey Plum is at least allowed to be Kelsey Plum. The Indiana Fever are more fun to watch than the Wings, the Sky, the Sun, the Storm, the Aces, the Lynx. If you don't like traditional fundamental basketball, they are in the bottom half of the most fun teams to watch. This is the most fun team. Was the most fun team in basketball a year ago, and their coach has sucked the life out of these players. Their play style has sucked the life out of these players. Lads, when the Indiana Fever decided to ignore the game plan, and just go get theirs at the end of the game, they nearly came back. This game plan to bore the other team and to lull the other team to freaking sleep and just try to win a game in the 70s is going to not only ruin this team, it's going to ruin her, and it's going to ruin this league. It's going to ruin this league. So anyway, yeah, lads, I will see you guys. I got to run. I got to get a bus. See you guys. Thank you guys for coming in.